I'm a very respectful guy, brought up by a good family, but if I can kill you, I will kill you. That's just how I am.
And I'm just sitting on the phone call for literally like something I did not do. And it goes back to people just attacking Jake Paul and wanting to see me fail.
Me, an exciting fighter to watch is that I carry power in both hands. So yeah, I believe I'll be able to deliver. There's various ways I'll win. I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
Joshua, he looked angry up there. I've never seen him look so fired up. He was giving it the throat slashing gestures. He wants to hurt Jake Paul.
Jake Paul just got sued, and the moment he rejected the rematch, everything exploded. In less than 48 hours, contracts collapsed, lawyers swarmed, millions were put on the line, and the boxing world split in half like a fault line under pressure. What started as a single decision has now become the most dangerous showdown of both their careers, with consequences that will follow them long after the noise fades.
I'm more athletic than every single boxer in the whole entire sport and stronger than them.
The night Jake Paul rejected the rematch, the boxing world didn't react, it collapsed. Promoters started calling each other, fighters were texting insiders, sponsors were suddenly asking, what just happened? Social media turned into a storm within minutes. You could feel something breaking. This was not a calm business decision. This felt like betrayal. People had already circled the date. Broadcasters had lined up the cameras. Fans had picked sides. And then Jake walked away like none of it mattered. That moment didn't just cancel a fight. It lit the fuse for everything that followed.
Former two-time world champion, AJ Anthony.
Since winning a boxing match falls way down on the list of priorities, just surviving becomes the most important thing, causing fear, often panic, to take over, doing whatever they can to just survive.
Because this was not some small contract. This was the rumored $85 million rematch deal. Riyadh was locked as the location. Global broadcast was in place. Multiple networks were already in discussions. The hype machine was already running. Everything was sitting on the table except one thing: Jake's signature. That's it, one pen stroke. And instead of signing, Jake went silent. No statement, no video, no tweet, just gone. And that silence did more damage than any insult he could have thrown. When a man walks away from $85 million without explaining himself, people don't call it strategy, they call it fear. And that's when the mood changed from excitement to rage.
Let's say hello to the two-time former unified heavyweight champion of the world, the 2012 Olympic gold medalist, the pride of Watford, the pride of the United Kingdom. Make some noise for the one and only Anthony Joshua!
Inside Anthony Joshua's camp, it exploded. Not slowly, instantly. Phones went off, meetings were called, emotions were raw. This wasn't just about money. This was about respect, time, and legacy. AJ had already invested months into the buildup. He had already reshaped his public image for this moment. He had already taken the risk of even stepping into Jake Paul's world. And now that world had slammed the door. Within hours, AJ's legal team was activated. Contracts were pulled, messages were reviewed, promises were compared, and then the lawsuit landed like a bomb.
Rough tactics gotta stop, okay? Fans didn't pay to see this crap, okay?
Amen! The fans did not pay to see this crap!
Psychologically, Jake likely did that in fear and panic. Doing that allowed him to catch his breath.
The language of that lawsuit was not soft. It accused Jake Paul of contract manipulation, intentional career damage, and fraudulent negotiation. Those are not words people throw around casually. Those are words meant to burn reputations. Overnight, Jake's name stopped trending as an entertainer and started trending as a liability. Sponsors paused. Promoters stopped returning calls. Deals that were being whispered about suddenly went cold. Boxing executives started avoiding the topic publicly while panicking privately. Because when a lawsuit like this hits, it doesn't stay between two fighters. It poisons the entire sport.
Oh, come on, punches. What is this? And yet he takes the knee again. This is not Joshua. It is happening. There's the right hand. Jake Paul goes down again.
Then Jake's camp fired back. They called the lawsuit desperate. They said AJ was acting out of fear. They claimed this was all a publicity move. And for a moment, some people believed it, but something strange happened. Jake Paul, the loudest man in every room, went quiet. No live stream, no jokes, no aggressive tweets, no public statements. The silence felt wrong. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua went the opposite direction. He posted training clips, heavy breathing, bruised knuckles, long runs, no talking, just work. And that contrast made the internet pick sides hard. Fighters, fans, fans, commentators, everyone became a prosecutor overnight. Then the leak happened.
Instead of processing feedback or acknowledging his flaws, the deluded person protects their ego by attacking the source of the criticism.
And you versus going to the gym, you're still a fat.
By labeling all the criticism he receives about his lackluster opponents as merely hate.
A private phone call between Jake and a promoter surfaced online. The audio was short, but it was deadly. In it, Jake allegedly says, "Why fight him now? Let the hype die first." That sentence spread everywhere. Millions heard it, and suddenly the lawsuit didn't sound crazy anymore, because that one line made the entire situation feel calculated. Not cautious, not strategic, calculated. Public opinion flipped in hours. Comment sections turned savage. Even some of Jake's supporters started asking uncomfortable questions.
People don't realize I'm a real killer. I really do this. YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people.
Anthony Joshua stayed silent while the fire grew. Then he posted one sentence: "You don't get to build a career on fear and call it confidence." That wasn't trash talk, that was judgment, and it hit harder than any punch. The internet exploded. That quote was everywhere. Fighters reposted it, fans carved it into memes, and the pressure on Jake multiplied.
Come on, punches. What is this?
From that point on, the war wasn't about a rematch anymore. It was about who was running and who was standing. Jake disappeared from the spotlight. No social media presence, no interviews, just lawyers and closed doors. Meanwhile, AJ kept training like a man preparing for something unavoidable. The sport itself started to feel the damage. Events stalled, contracts froze, relationships cracked, all because one man refused to sign one piece of paper. This is no longer about boxing. It's about control, ego, and survival. Jake has built an empire on attention, and now that empire is under legal threat. AJ has built a legacy on dominance, and he's not letting a YouTuber decide how it ends. One of them is about to lose more than money. One of them is about to lose their identity in the sport, and everyone can feel it.
And yet he takes the knee again. This is not Joshua. It is happening. There's the right hand. Jake Paul goes down again.
Because that wasn't trash talk, that wasn't hype, that was the kind of sentence that feels like someone opened your chest and said something out loud that everyone had been whispering. It hit harder than any punch AJ has ever thrown. Fighters reposted it, fans turned it into banners, comment sections exploded, even people who had no idea what the lawsuit was about suddenly had opinions. That sentence didn't just go viral, it changed the story. From that moment on, this stopped being about contracts and became about character. There was no going back. And while that sentence was bouncing around the world, Jake Paul vanished. Not quiet, not low activity, vanished.
Cleveland, Ohio as well. He's El Gallo. He's the one and only, the problem child, Jake Paul.
No tweets, no Instagram stories, no YouTube uploads, no podcast clips. The guy who built an empire on noise suddenly went ghost. The influencer circus shut down and turned into a legal bunker. Lawyers replaced vloggers, court filings replaced thumbnails. It felt like watching a hurricane go silent in the center while the storm kept growing around it.
Step back with that right leg.
He's cornered again by Joshua. Down, Paul goes. Another right hand.
Meanwhile, AJ's camp did the opposite. They didn't talk much either, but they showed everything else. Training clips dropped, sweat pouring, ribs bruised, heavy bags screaming, long road runs in the dark, no music, no hype captions, just work. The contrast was brutal. One man disappearing behind closed doors, the other sharpening himself in public, and people noticed. That's when the war spilled out of the ring.
I mean, just steps into it with every ounce of his body. Perfect right hand. So the fact that Jake Paul wants to fight that guy, hey, I'll watch. I'm gonna watch. And if you want to show you're legit by taking on one of the scariest fucking heavyweights alive.
Fights got delayed, promoters froze negotiations, sponsors hesitated, relationships that took years to build cracked in days. Fighters who had nothing to do with this suddenly found their own deals stalled because no one knew how this mess would end. The sport itself became collateral damage. It wasn't about Jake versus AJ anymore. It was about control of the industry's future. Who decides the money? Who decides the moments? Who decides what boxing even is now?
Jake Paul is now ranked the number 14 cruiserweight in the world by the WBA, and He's called out Anthony Joshua. Just makes the whole sport look ridiculous. Gets them more attention.
Fans didn't just watch, they chose sides like it was a civil war. Jake supporters called it a setup. AJ supporters called it cowardice. Comment sections turned into battlefields. Every clip, every photo, every rumor was treated like evidence in a trial that never sleeps. And through all of that noise, the countdown quietly began.
Yeah, because he thinks that he thinks he's the one.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm preparing for. I'm preparing for the one who thinks that he's, you know, like the Matrix. He thinks he's the chosen child, the problem child. So I'm preparing for that type of person. That's his mentality. So I'm preparing for that type of person. I'm not preparing for the person everyone thinks he is. I'm preparing for the person he thinks he is.
AJ kept posting one word: soon. That was it. No context, no timeline, just soon. Each time he posted it, the tension climbed. People started tracking court dates and training footage like stock prices. The clock was ticking in 2 arenas at the same time: courtroom and combat, legal pressure on one side, physical pressure on the other. And the question slowly shifted from who's right to who breaks first, because both of them are standing on cliffs.
I think it's ChatGPT's lying to him. I think he needs to say on ChatGPT, give me it raw, uncut, and don't filter your answers. He's probably typed in ChatGPT, do you think I can beat Anthony Joshua? And it's been like, great question. Anthony came off a shocking loss in September. You have a great chance, Jake.
Jake Paul has built a brand empire, clothing lines, promotions, sponsorships, media companies, fights lined up years into the future. That entire structure depends on one thing: credibility. And credibility is fragile. Once people stop believing the hype, the money follows. Once the money leaves, the machine collapses.
Yes, he was constantly crawling, falling, rolling, faking low blows.
He knows his bullshit.
And I don't see a low blow at all there, so I don't know what we're talking about here.
Holding onto AJ's leg as if he were pleading for mercy.
Anthony Joshua's risk is different. He's not protecting a brand, he's protecting a legacy, years of dominance, championships, respect, the kind of career fighters bleed for. If he lets a YouTuber control the narrative of his future, that legacy cracks. And cracks don't disappear. Neither man can afford to lose. Not financially, not emotionally, not publicly, because this is what real mutual destruction looks like, and if one of them falls, the other is scarred forever too. All of this chaos was born from one decision, one unsigned contract, one night where the world was expecting a yes and instead received a devastating silence. Now the question hangs heavy over everything. Does this end in court? Does it end in the ring? Or does it end with both of them standing in the wreckage of something they can never rebuild? One of them is about to lose everything, and the world is watching.